Gas Network presents sports for the culture.
I'm here with the family.
Bryce, XXV, Double I,
Rome,
D-Melo, Gruff Lion,
T-Boogie, man.
to the greatest sports show on the planet, La Familia. Hope y'all ready for a ride.
Can't wait to hear what you guys got to say. We back. It's your favorite sports show, Gas presents sports for the culture. I'm tonight's host at Bryce XXV Double I. And as always, I got the dream team with me. I'm gonna start with the bottom left. Although I don't know why he's wearing that jersey, man. Should have taken that shit off before we started. Go ahead.
Man, the evil empire is back, and they're just trying to hate on us for any piss poor excuse. We're the real evil empire, not that shit over there in LA. It's the Yankees, man. The greatest team in all American sports. And I dare anybody to argue me that.
The greatest team in all of it. Bro, I'm not gonna argue that. Top right, introduce yourself.
Hey, man, you know who it is? Your boy Young Rome 22 on all socials as always, man. Hey, look, G's been waiting months and months and months. Football season was agonizing for him. Basketball season is pretty agonizing as well. He couldn't be more ecstatic that the Yankees are back. The bad news is they're still not touching the Dodgers. So, you know, enjoy the regular season.
Bro, I swear G does this shit every year, bro. He comes on the start of the baseball season. He's all happy for the Yankees. And then come October, your man got the sad face, bro. You're ready to put a paper bag on his head. But, you know, we'll see. Hope it ends up better for him this year. Bottom right, introduce yourself.
T-Boogie, man. Wash your hands, wash your ass. I know what it is. Let's get it.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm surprised none of y'all had no April Fool's setups in those intros, man. I was expecting something wild from you boys. Before we get started, I gotta ask, man, did anybody get y'all any April Fool's jokes today? Did y'all almost get caught with anything?
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
Too many.
Well, I had an April Fool's joke played on me today by my own dog, man. I walked this damn dog today this morning around the block. I just keep walking him because, you know, I'm running late for work, but you can't leave a dog in the house and he ain't take a shit yet, right? So I'm walking him around the block. I walk him down the street. I walk him to his favorite spot, and your man refuses to drop one, bro. He's not going for it, bro. So I look at him, I'm like, look, bro, we've been out here about 20 minutes now. I got to get to work. Your ass going back in the house, bro. So I start walking him back towards the crib. I'm telling you, bro, on the very, very last patch of grass, the slimmest, smallest patch of grass, this man get a hump in his back and just decide to drop a load, bro. I'm like, nah, bro, you playing with me, bro. You April Fool's joking me. My own dog, man. It was painful, bro. So ended up being late to work because of it, and I was so blown, bro. But yeah, usually people at work be trying to get you as soon as you walk in, saying something crazy. With the times at my job right now, and I'm sure many other jobs, you ain't going for no April Fool's jokes right now because people really afraid that they might really get fired right now. Crazy time.
Scary times right now.
Hey, bro, real scary times.
No, I feel like, and you know, this might be showing my age a little bit, but I think I'm just at an age now where, you know, people don't pull the April Fool's pranks on the guy at that age. You know, life's a little bit more serious. But back in the day when I was younger, I used to be a bit of a prankster myself. So.
Yeah, no, good point. It's one of those things that loses its allure as you get older, but I do miss the time where you could get somebody with a good April Fool's prank. All right, let's get it, man. First topic of the day. I don't know how we couldn't start with this one, man. We're going to talk some NCAA tournament. It's been an interesting tournament, man. Well, I don't know. It's been an interesting tournament in some ways, and we'll get into that. But Final Four is here. We've got Auburn versus Florida and Duke versus Houston, man. All four number one seeds make the Final Four. I think this is like the first time since 2006, I believe I saw, which is crazy. But what's y'all's reaction, man? How are them brackets looking? Are you surprised that all four number one seeds made it? I just want to hear what you guys have been thinking about the tournament thus far. Rome, start with you, man.
Hey, I'm glad you started with me. Check my bracket. We all on in the sleeper jump together. Check my bracket. It's looking lovely right now. It's looking wonderful right now. And y'all can all say, "Oh, well, all you did was pick the number one seeds." Bryce, you just laid this up for me perfectly. This ain't happened in how long? What was the stat?
I think it's '06. I'm about to double check
Oh,
that.
oh six. So that's about 19 years since this has happened. So it wasn't like I was just taking the easy way out. Auburn's a damn football school. You know what I'm saying? I can't. I don't remember the last time they made it this far. And the biggest risk that I took on my bracket is actually right here in the Final Four. My big upset is Auburn beating Florida to advance to the chip. I got Auburn and Duke. But yeah, my bracket looks wonderful, man. So I'm feeling good.
I feel like that's the type of bracket you pick when you ain't watching no college basketball and you just like, look,
See that's why I'm glad that you put that stat out there first. So when the listeners hear this, when y'all run this tape back, just remember the stat. This ain't happened since '06, so I ain't take the easy way out. I ain't take the easy way.
nah, that's facts though. Can't take nothing away from you, man. You must be. I assume you leading the clubhouse as far as our bracket challenge goes. All right. Well, shout out to you, man. You picked you picked the front runners and it worked out for you. You probably gonna do the same thing next year, man. You not it's not gonna happen again until 36. All right. So
Yeah.
don't do it next year. Uh, G tournament reactions, man.
I mean, out of all these guys, right, that are number one, I'm gonna go with Duke because people raved about Alabama and they beat the dope out of Alabama. The sugar honey iced tea out of Alabama. Duke's guard just they were taller, bigger. There's Cooper Flag, pardon me, amazing. I'm just impressed. I mean, that's not, out of all these number one seeds, they're the only game that beat their opponent prior to getting to the Final Four. And I'm more surprised about the NIL. I thought like at least a Cinderella team will make it this far, knowing that a school is going to have some kind of money to pay some kid that's a top 10, pay him some buku money to come play in their school for 1 year just to take them pretty far to the tourney. I mean, Houston was what, an Elite Eight last year? Like Auburn the year before was 16, if I'm not mistaken. Florida, they came out of nowhere this year. But damn, but Duke is Duke, the original blue blood. But I'm really, yeah, we can't say the NIL messed this up. The NIL literally did what what it was supposed to do. Either strengthen power big programs or pay these kids and look at Rutgers. I don't even want to mention that sorry ass program right now. Had two top 10 or about to get drafted two top 10 players this year in the NBA draft, and they couldn't even smell March Madness. I mean, I'm just surprised that the NIL didn't ruin March Madness this year. If anything, it's going to make it better for years to come. I believe there's going to be a Cinderella. Maybe not this year, but next year.
I don't know about that, man. That's one of the theories I was going to bring up. I think the Cinderella's dead, bro. I don't think we ever see a Cinderella again. In fact, I think we might as well go ahead and cut this tournament to about 24 teams. All right, just make it 32 off the rip because pretty soon there's going to be no point for the other 32 to even show up. Like what we doing, bro? Like we didn't even have a team lower than the 10th seed last round, did we? In the Elite Eight, was there any 10th seed in the Elite Eight? Shit, in the Sweet 16, was there any seed lower than an 8 seed in the Sweet 16? Like, man, the days of Cinderella gone, and I think the NIL has killed that. But T, what's your thoughts on the tournament thus far, man?
It's been a good tournament. I do think this is one of those rare outlier years where the bracket is just really, really top heavy. But so far, it's still been good basketball. I feel like we haven't got the amount of buzzer beaters that we used to, but we got enough. We still got good games, still got close games. We still got games, teams that we didn't think would make runs. We saw Arkansas make a run. Was that Colorado State tried to make a run? So I think it's been a good tourney. I just think for the college basketball purists, you tend to get away from that 1-1-1 Final Four because it just rarely happens, and it's one of those years where it did. I don't think that's any indication either way. I don't think that's a reflection of NIL. I just think it just lined up that way this year. The teams that they said were strong, the bracketologists, they got it right. I don't want to discredit the guys that watch these guys every week and rank these teams, and you got to just take your hat off to them. They got it right.
I feel you. I don't know, man. I disagree with that though. I truly feel like the days of a random Florida Gulf Coast making a run, I feel like them days are over, bro. And like, if you just look at some of these teams, like just take it from last year to this year, right? When we got to the Elite Eight, 3 members of that Florida Atlantic team that made the run last year, 3 members of their team were in the Elite Eight. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's crazy, bro. You had one dude from Arkansas, dude from Michigan, and I think one dude is from Florida. He went to Florida, and like, bro, you just dismantle an entire team that made a deep run, and now they all go to a powerhouse. And why do they go to these powerhouses, bro? Because these powerhouses are being artificially created by the bag. You got a bag, that's how you get a team now. And every school is not going to be able to have a bag, right? I mean, we see what's happening with what just happened with UMD and Kevin Willard leaving. And I think that's going to happen time and time again as we get to this situation where like teams that got crazy boosters, teams that already got crazy football programs, because football bringing in the most money, right? Those type of schools are going to have a leg up on everybody else, man. If their school and their ADs are willing to invest in the basketball side. And I truly believe because of that, the tournament's cooked, bro. I told y'all on this show, when we first started this show, it had to have been about, almost 6 years now. I told y'all, man, college basketball, really I said college sports at the time, as we know it, will change forever. And this is before NIL, but I just saw where this shit was going, bro. This shit is pro sports, bro. And it's really, I truly believe there is no point for there to be 64 teams in the field, bro. Like, what are we doing it for, dog? The bottom 32 basically are going to have no chance. And this is the first year where it really seems like the 12 seeds had no shot, in my opinion.
I'm gonna disagree with you on a lot of your points, because I think the fact that JUCO kids are now getting an additional 4 years when they come to the bigger schools now, like I think that's gonna like avoid the NIL. And aren't they supposed to put like some kind of like what is it, like money cap, like a salary cap on these schools with the NIL deals? So I also think kids are still gonna be transferring. Now you're gonna have full adult men playing in the collegiate level. And now that's what I also think is going to avoid a lot of these situations where you think it's just going to be top heavy teams. Eventually, like you're going to have Duke. Duke is going to be known. They're going to push more for basketball. They're not going to invest as much heavy in the football side unless something happens.
But think about it this way, bro. The way these Cinderellas used to make runs, and the reason these Cinderellas used to make runs, right? Think back when Coach K was on top of the world at Kentucky, and he was having all those freshmen, Anthony Davis to, I don't know, name that guy, bro. Not Anthony Davis isn't a good example, but think of all the other teams that Coach K had when they just had
Calipari.
I'm sorry, yeah, Calipari, my bad. All the crazy teams Calipari had when they just had wild, good freshmen, right? And they would end up getting beat year after year in the tournament. They couldn't make a run until they had the Anthony Davis squad. But people will be like, how does Calipari lose every single time in the tournament? You know why he was losing, bro? Because he would end up facing, no, that's not why. Because he would end up
motivate, but he can't coach.
Nah, bro. He would end up facing a 12th seed or a 9th seed or a 15th seed, right? That had 4 seniors on their starting 5. 4 Bammers have been playing together their whole career for 4 straight years. They knew each other in and out. They knew where to get each other the ball in certain spots. They knew how to play a 2-man game with each other. It was just so much, synergy amongst those teams at the time, right? And because of that, that used to supersede the talent. And that was the ultimate equalizer. Our experience playing together would supersede the talent of these younger squads, right? But what happens now? You don't have those teams anymore because once a player succeeds on a team that would typically be a lower seed, 16th seed, 15th seed, 14th seed, right? They're getting poached by these giant programs. And it only makes sense because the giant programs can throw a bag at them, get that player to come to the team, and now you're just ruining the entire synergy that's been built up by these smaller schools, bro. And like I want to say it was the Norfolk State head coach spoke to this, right? He was like, bro, it's impossible to build a pro. And Norfolk State was I believe they were in the tournament this year, right? But he was like, it's impossible to build a program because I'm gonna build a player up, then they're gonna go to the next big thing. So he's like, basically now he said he compared his school to being a junior college now. So we in the era where the smaller schools are going to turn into the junior colleges. And once that happens fully, man, give me 32 teams in the tournament. I don't need to see 64 play anymore. Scrub, that's a good point. Creating a tier system. I like that wording right there. You're right. It's a tier system, bro. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, man. Y'all seem to think that it's still fair and competitive, but I'm trying to tell y'all this shit is over.
Well, my pushback, I guess, on that would be what exactly makes a Cinderella team, right? What do you need for that? What are the ingredients? You need good coaching, and that's what I've heard from everybody on this show multiple times as far as tournament play is the coaching. So is it not possible for a smaller school to grab a good coach or to find a good coach and then go on a run in the tournament? I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility at all.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities, right? But you can give a bad coach 5 stars and the best coach 5 1-stars, and the bad coach coming out on top in that matchup. All right, it's only so much you can do with no talent, bro. And as y'all as coaches know this, bro. Like, if I give you a talentless squad, bro, you could be Coach K. It don't really matter, bro. Like, the talent gap is that wide, and that's the real issue, wrong? Is we're not gonna be able to find out who the great coaches are anymore, right? Because the talent gap's gonna be so wide, it's gonna be hard to really supersede that with just coaching. I mean, I don't know, bro. I think it's approaching scary hours.
I don't think so. I think you got to give it a chance to like level out, especially with the JUCO rules changing, where a guy can develop in JUCO and then find his way to a big time D1 and try to build a career or a path to the pros from there. Because it's going to be a lot of those kids doing that same thing. So I think right now, all right, guys are getting poached, but once there's too many guys to poach, I mean, everybody gets stronger. I don't think, and I know you go where the money is, but 40 people can't go to the same school. 100 people can't go to the same school. So even if the good schools are still going to get high school players. So I think some of these JUCO guys that have developed and they're grown men are going to come in and go to some of these smaller schools and the Marquettes, the Virginia Techs, the teams that aren't, powerhouses, but they've been around, the teams you expect to make a run. Will it be a Florida Gulf Coast? Will it be a St. Peter's? I probably not. But based on the seeding is how you get a Cinderella, not necessarily based on the school name. I think it's just cooler when it's a school no one's ever heard of. Hey, look at this little college. They never had a birth in attorney. That's a cool story. But if you take 64 teams and we're all familiar with, the name and the brand of the program, it's still a Cinderella if a 13 marches to the 8. Still a Cinderella if 12 marches to the 4.
It's not built like that, though. It's not built like that because you gotta win. Most of these teams are getting in. The teams you never heard of are getting in because they won a conference tournament. So it's like so you're saying they got to open the 64 field. Basically, they got to get rid of the automatic bids. Is what you're saying?
No. What's going to happen is those teams are the best team in that conference is probably going to be the best team year to year. It's not going to be one year Florida Gulf Coast the next year. I don't know, Florida Regional or whatever. I don't know who else is in that conference, but I don't think I think you'll probably just get the usual names like guys are going to go to programs that win. And Florida Gulf Coast will get guys because that they have the brand power. They have, hey, we've been to the tournament, so they'll get guys. I just don't think those Cinderella teams will rotate. And those Cinderella teams will come in. And I still think that this is not football, right? This is not if I have a line and you don't, I'm going to win. In basketball, I can absolutely take 5 guys. They don't have to play together for 4 years and know each other in and out. I just might got 5 guys with chemistry that know their roles, and they don't have egos. I got a big that knows I'm just here to block shots and pass the ball and rebound. I got a guard that knows I'm just here to facilitate. I got a scorer that has a chip on his shoulder, and you can only play 5 guys on the floor at a time. That's the thing about basketball. I don't care if you have a roster of 10 dogs. Only 5 can be in the game at once. So if I play my 5 or 6 against your 10, maybe you have an advantage because of fatigue, but I just need my guys to lock in for 2 halves. I don't think the Cinderellas are done yet. I think it's easy to say because the landscape's changing and it seems to be shifting to the bigger schools, which is done on purpose. It's absolutely done on purpose. But I don't think the smaller schools are done yet. Like where there's a will, there's a way. People aren't just gonna lay down and die.
He made some good
Good luck
points.
with that. Good luck getting your 5 guys to just find chemistry. See, that works totally against what chemistry is. Like chemistry is not just this doesn't randomly appear. You know what this isn't is the NBA. The NBA, you can just get 5 guys who just happen to be the best and turn them into the Heat. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not the NBA. This is college, where if you're getting 5 guys and you expect them to have chemistry, that takes time to build, bro.
No, it
Like
doesn't.
just look at Florida Atlantic last year when they made a run, right? They made a run with juniors and seniors, and now all those juniors and seniors went to other teams, and now those teams are in the Final Four because they joined powerhouses. When you talk about the Florida Gulf Coast, we weren't talking about a team of 5 freshmen. We were talking about a team of juniors and seniors that sweat, blood, and tears together for 3-4 years, bro. We're not just throwing teams together and expecting them to beat teams that got 5 number 1 ranked prospects, and on top of that, have been poaching the best players from other schools for the past 4 years.
You're looking at it too cinematic. Like this is not a movie. Those guys didn't run suicides together, so they played better. What happened is they were older. If I take 5 22-year-olds and I play them against 5 18-year-olds, I have the advantage. My guys are stronger. They've been through more in life in general, not necessarily because they've practiced together. I think you'll still get that. If I got kids that spent 4 years of JUCO and then come up to my program and spend another 1 or 2, like these guys are older. These guys are more mature in general. These guys have they didn't get to campus and see the girls and wild out. They've already had that experience. And I think those smaller schools will still thrive off that. So maybe you don't have 4-year seniors, but you have guys that are 22, 23, 24. And bro, I got to play basketball because I'm trying to feed my family soon. You know, some of these guys are going to have kids. Some of these guys are already going to be married, and they're still going to be playing against freshman sensations. So you get out there with your guy that's 180 versus my guy that's been in the weight room for 4 years and he's 220, and let's see what shakes.
That's not what's happening. That's not what's going to happen, bro.
Listen,
and
man.
The reason that's not what's happening, because the exact player that you just described, they got his head on straight, went to JUCO, then goes to what you're describing as a mid-major. You know what he does? He gets a 5th year of eligibility and then goes to the SEC, bro. And then that whole cycle that you just said turned into the cycle I'm describing.
That's over with. That COVID year is over with already, bro.
For instance, take the probably the best player remaining in the tournament right now. Who do y'all think is the best player remaining in the tournament based on what y'all see? Outside of Cooper Flag, right? It's Johnny Broome of Auburn. Johnny Broome of Auburn, he's 22 years old, bro. Like he's 22, bro. And where do you think? Oh, yeah, and he's at Auburn, bro. That's my point. And you know where he started? You know where he started? Morehead State.
My point is,
he left Morehead State after 2 years to go to Auburn.
This is before the rule has been implemented, right? So there's going to be way more Dalton Connects and Johnny Brooms for teams to have now. It's not going to be the one or two guys that went to JUCO and got their COVID eligibility and got a medical exemption. Bro, it's going to be plenty of players. You're going to start seeing those Florida Gulf Coast teams. Everybody's 22, 23. Everybody's 24.
Also, to T's point from earlier, is the Cinderella only based off school name alone? Because I made the point earlier that Auburn hasn't been this far in a tournament in forever. Auburn's not known for being a basketball school. You don't.
They're number one seed.
I'm not saying that they're a Cinderella based off their seeding, but I'm saying is this not a big moment for the school of Auburn to go this far in the tournament in the last time since however long?
It definitely is. It's a huge moment for Auburn, but Cinderella is based off your seeding alone, right? And I would throw in your school too. If it's a small, tiny school nobody's heard of, and your mascot is the Golden Retrievers or the Peacocks or something like that, beautiful Cinderella story. But you're not a number one seed in the Cinderella. And you know what else you damn sure not as a Cinderella? A team that's throwing top 10 national dollars, top 10 in the nation with money that you're throwing at players, bro.
But I got a question, right? A Cinderella team, how far do they make it in the tournament anyways?
We've seen them make the Sweet 16s, Elite 8s.
4.
I mean, yeah, it happens. It almost happens every year, at least to the Sweet 16, bro.
But okay, so you earlier you said, right, you didn't think a 10 ranked team. Well, a 10 ranked team did make it to the Sweet 16 this year, and there was a couple of 4s, 5s, and 6s, not just the ones that we see now. So I don't think the Cinderella team are gonna just fade away. I think they're gonna make a push. Back to what T said, but those Cinderella teams are gonna be stock heavy with a bunch of older men that are either 22 and older. And so I don't think
you know what that 10 seed that made it to the Sweet 16 was?
Go ahead for it.
It was Arkansas, bro.
Yeah, they weren't.
But that's my exact point, though.
No, it's not that they weren't that good. That's not my point that I'm making, bro. I'm saying
Arkansas was never known to be a school of fucking basketball program,
bro. But they have bread, bro. You're missing it. They're in the SEC, bro. Yeah, they're a 10 seed, but they're in the SEC. Got the most money in any conference. They got the most money, right? They got the most money to throw at players, bro. This is my point, bro. I'm not.
So what you're saying is you can only be a Cinderella based off your school. It's not based off anything else, but it's based off basically the monetary value of your school.
No, I would say that Arkansas. Okay, let's say Arkansas. The
Cinderella got to be broke first.
Arkansas, basically, they gotta be dirt broke. They gotta be poor, asking for pennies on commercial breaks. Say, come donate.
No, bro. Arkansas, the closest thing we had to a Cinderella this year, right? They're a 10 seed, bro. They're a 10 seed. They're a 10 seed that's coached by John Calipari, bro.
And I think that's your issue. The fact that they have a big name. Your issue is that the fact
you can't have nice things and still be a Cinderella, dog.
Cinderella. Bro,
they got the biggest coach in the nation. They got the biggest coach in the nation who's known for getting the best talent in the nation, and they're an SEC school that can.
And clearly they don't, because if that was the case, it would be a number one seed.
According to Bryce, you only qualify to be a Cinderella if you practice outside and your hoop got changed.
I'll tell y'all this. When I sat on this show 6 years ago and told y'all that college sports is going to change forever, y'all told me I was crazy then. So, hey, we'll be back in a few years. And when it's clear that we should trim the tournament to 32 teams, just tell me I was right, man.
No, I mean,
you're wrong.
Bro, tell me I was right, bro.
Maryland was a late second travel game winner away from losing to a Cinderella.
Bruh, so?
Or does Colorado State got too much money now?
I don't care about the loss, bro. You talk about they almost lost. Bruh, so what, bruh? Maryland was a 4th seed and won. They made it to the Sweet 16, bro. What are we talking about?
We could agree to disagree with Bryce, because clearly we see that Cinderella teams at least make it to the Sweet 16, and that's okay with us. Bryce wants a Cinderella team to make it to the Final Four every year.
No, it's not that. Arkansas was not a Cinderella team. What is a Cinderella team to you? Just a 10 seed or lower?
Arkansas not a Cinderella.
Bro, they got John Calipari as the coach, and they're an SEC team that can throw the most money at anybody, bro.
But John Calipari's been in the SEC since he was in Kentucky. So what are we saying?
What point are you making with that?
So what is your point by saying the SEC? It doesn't matter.
My point about the SEC, my overall point, I'm gonna explain this again for you, G.
Because they have money.
Because they have money allows the teams with more money to be way more successful, bro. So
but that's why they put in a salary cap to that
don't have as much money are going to be way less successful in the long run. But it's that simple.
But listen.
Because like it's no longer an incentive for a player.
But that's why they're hindering them by putting a salary cap the year to come. Yeah. After this year, is no more. Well, I'm gonna just throw myself in the transfer portal and I'm gonna try to get paid. Now it's gonna be like, does the school have the money for it? And that's how they're gonna debunk this whole suspicion of yours that a Cinderella is never gonna be good in a March Madness.
It's gonna be like MLB, G. You know how your Yankees can pay for any player, so every single year the same teams in MLB are good. It's gonna be just like that.
But you're not hearing what I'm telling you. They already came out and said they're gonna put a salary cap to the NIL to all the schools, so everybody's gonna have a certain amount, set limit of what they could pay these students. So now this whole notion of, well, you could just sweep up and take anybody and poach is not going to be happening no more.
I haven't seen that law. I haven't seen that been passed yet. If that gets passed, I'll change my plan.
It's not the NIL. It's not the NIL. It's more so just the portal in general, because the big schools, especially in basketball, have been buying players since forever. There's movies about it. There's documentaries about it. So it's more so that the players can leave and easily now, because you used to have to sit a year out or go down a level above. Now that transfer guy, you can bring them in quick, but it ain't the money, because the money was always with the big schools, and the big schools always had no problem spending. Oh, if you watch the podcast right now about basketball, these guys will tell you about how much money they was making in high school and college.
Nah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
In high school, like LeBron James,
you're still running the risk, bro. You were still running the risk back then.
LeBron drove a Hummer to prom.
Yo, you for real? That's true, man. Shout out to King James, man. My son had a Hummer,
brand new Hummer. I might have been an H2. It's H2. He had.
I remember he was on the sideline at one time with the camera phone before everybody had the camera phone too. This was crazy.
I'm saying, boys had money, man.
We're gonna see, man. If they cap it, I want to see what the cap is, because even with the cap, bro, if they have a hard cap on NIL deals, every school not gonna be able to meet that cap that other schools gonna be able to meet, bro. So they're gonna have to put in something so low that every school can meet the joint, or it's still not gonna matter. There's really no incentive for like a good player to go anywhere else but a team that's got the bag, bro. There's no incentive. And these college coaches of mid majors are feeling it the most, bro. They build a player up, a good coach. They be a good coach to a player. They get the player better. The player's skills get better. That player's leaving, bro. Next year he's out of there, bro.
I don't care. I don't care, because what happens is when a mid major coach builds up a program, he leaves.
No, for sure. I'm not mad at it. I'm just telling y'all what's happening, bro. Trim the 32 teams. Like, yeah, you're right. The coach has been doing it. I'm not mad at the players for doing it, but you're gonna see big schools punishing, smacking the smaller schools, like you saw in the first 2 rounds of the tournament this year.
Expanded 128. Let's get it.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So when do you start March Madness? You started back in fucking February?
Man, we starting on the new year. Let's go.
Man, I won't turn the games on until April. They do that. I mean, March Madness no more. I'll turn it on in April.
A bigger playoffs, always more eyes.
Well, what I see happening now is going to be more about the conferences. Like, what happens to the Big 12? What happened to the ACC? What happens to like the Big 10? Like, do these conferences start to unite just to appease this basketball tournament?
No, just get rid of the conferences. What do we have them for at this point?
Bro, if you get rid of the conferences, there's no mid-majors making the tournament.
Just get rid of
that is how the mid-majors make the tournament, bro. It's because they win their conference championship and then they get to the tournament, dog. Like, so what you saying is like, I agree, bro. I agree. Get rid of the conferences. Like, but they'll never make it. None of the small schools ever make it.
Listen, The small school, as much fun as it is to watch a small school make a run, nobody's a fan of a small school. Nobody's buying the merch. I don't care. You would have to make a run every year for the fans to care. Like,
nah, Wichita State had a little run 3 years ago. Remember they were in the tournament?
Nobody even know what Wichita State is.
Yeah, I don't even know. I remember that they had a little nice run for like 2-3 years straight.
Shocker.
For real?
Anthony Earl, or whatever his name was.
Yeah, bro. And they made that coach was Tom Crean, right? Wasn't he the one that was at Wichita?
I thought Crean was at like Indiana or something. He might have started at Wichita.
No, you might be right. No, I think he was at Marquette. Crean was at Marquette. But whoever their coach was ended up balling out. Or like VCU. Gave you Shaka Smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all don't want to see the VCU succeed no more. To me, that's what made the tournament, bro. Like, we could watch Duke and UNC and the SEC every year if we want, but like,
do you want? Listen, bro, you living in the old days. Do you want to see Mexico and Canada succeed?
Bro, that is my point, though. That is my point. That's been my point here. The old days are done. Like that's my point. The old days are done, bro. The Cinderellas are gone, bro.
No, I think those schools that were Cinderella, right? I think they're gonna have a bigger advantage because those schools only focuses on one thing, like basketball only. I think those guys are gonna be having. You're gonna have more money to spread out.
You think a school of 8,000 students could be able to compete with a school that has an endowment of $200 million a year? All right, bro. Good
but with a salary cap, I'm saying with a salary cap, right? With an NIL cap,
we got 8,000 students. The salary cap don't matter. We don't got the money. It's done, bro. I'm telling y'all, it's cooked. I can't wait to revisit this in a few years. Can't wait.
Let's revisit it next year, man, because there's always a tournament.
Yeah, that's not enough. That's not a large enough sample size, but we'll see. We'll see. If all 4 number 1 seeds or it's all 1s and 2s next year in the Final Four, bro, cooked.
Which normally happens. I don't think it's cooked.
It's not what normally happens. It's not what normally happens, bro.
You probably get a dab of a 4 seed, 6 at best. But after that, it's like, what do you want?
I want to see Sister. What was her name? What was a random nun that had to run with St. Francis? I want to see that again, man. Show me the random. I wanted to see my man Aura make a run with his team. Who was Aura's team, man?
He's already left the school.
Exactly. My son went to.
You know why he left the school? He got that NIL bag, bro.
Yo, he got $100,000. That's wild. I love it for him.
I love it for him too, and I love it for the players. But I hate it for what we once knew, because that shit is done.
We'll see. Next topic. Let's move along.
Let's move along, man. All right, next topic. We got we're gonna shift and go to baseball for a bit, man. We're gonna talk these torpedo bats, and I want to get y'all's thoughts if the torpedo bats are cheating. So the Yankees coming out hot. That's why G's got his Yankees jersey on. We're kind of doing our annual G wears the Yankees jersey for the first week of baseball season bit again. By October, he ends up with a paper bag on his head.
Never that.
So the Yankees are killing it though. They got the torpedo bats. Everybody's smacking the balls out the park. And the question is, man, are the torpedo bats cheating? And like I think it also can take us into a few other conversations. But I want to get y'all's flash reactions right here, like a yes or no, maybe a couple sentences on it. But I'll start with you, G. Are the torpedo bats cheating? I already know what you want to say.
No, because Lindor used them last year, and he's not a great hitter. Giancarlo Stanton used them, yes. So this bat's been out for last year. So everybody that I'm gonna disrespect everybody here, you casual fans. They were out since last year before.
Lindor is a great hitter.
Lindor has been using it. You can look it up. And Lindor's
I said he's a great hitter, so you definitely disrespecting Lindor.
And look at him. He's been striking out this year with the bat, and the year before he's been apart, whatever. And then you had Giancarlo Stanton use it, and he didn't like it. And then this year you had a couple teams. It's just the fact that the Yankees are the Yankees, and he's seen what they did to a bad team. Everybody wants to make a big rave that they're cheating, which the weight of the bat is still the same. All that happened was they shift the wider part of the bat and just brought it down to the middle. Pause. Super freaky. No diddy. That's all they did with the bat. They moved the thicker part, pause, to a little A little lower. Yo, this shit is super fragrant. That's all they did. They shift the width of the bat a little lower. Yo, this shit is that wicked. I don't know how to. That's all
Yeah,
they
that's
did.
crazy.
The length is still the same. Pause. It weighs the same. Pause. This shit is wild. The Yankees and anybody, and on top of that, right? Let's remember, right? Back then, the average fastball used to only be 90. It averaged from 85 to 93. Nowadays, your curveballs are going up to like 95. Back when the fuck was a curve in the early 2000s, in the 90s, a curveball a 95? Let alone, you guys tell me, a knuckleball, anything now in the minor leagues, you're pitching between, I think the average pitcher fastball is now at 892, 93. Compared to the back then, you're pitching that, you're in the pros. So I think this is good for baseball. You have to level the playing field against pitching. Too much pitching was considered boring. And now that we're
Yo,
finding a way to hit home runs,
this
we're calling it
this
cheating. Come on now.
this is just more antics of more pro sports leagues trying to push offense. All right, and this is coming from a guy who played little league and was a pitcher. All right, this is speaking from a pitcher's perspective. This is a bunch of bullshit. You gonna sit here and tell me the pitching's too good now, so they have to change the girth of the bat and put the width down
Balls,
here, and I
balls,
get all
balls
that
yourself.
nonsense out
Wait,
of here, G. Like, you're telling me that you have to change the equipment because the pitching's too good. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Why can't the batters just get better? If the pitchers got better over time, why wouldn't the batters get better over time? It's just like the NFL slanting the rules for the offense. MLB, they don't have the viewers that they want. They get called boring year in and year out. They need more runs, more home runs, more scoring. That's all this is trying to lead to. It's just like juicing the baseballs. So that's really all this is. My opinion, this is BS though. I know it's not against any technical rules in the rule book and not any of that nonsense, but it just screams to me, T-ball. Like it's like, oh, this kid is still developing, so we're gonna give him the slow pitch. We're gonna underhand it for him. We're gonna scoot in a little bit. Like it's ridiculous. If you need the special bat the way that G described it, then you're just not good enough,
Super
in my
freaky.
opinion.
All right, T, what's your thoughts, man? Staying out of this one. All right,
I mean, to Ron's point, this is clearly a method to increase scoring and viewership in a sport. Because the pitching got better, so the batting should get better, right? The pitchers got better through training and specialized practice, right? So the batter should hypothetically do the same thing. But I don't care if you know the rules to a sport or not. You know if a ball goes through a net. You know if the golf ball goes in the hole. You know if a baseball goes over the wall, right? So that's what the fans want to see. At the end of the day, what is the sport without the viewership? You know what I'm saying? Because if it was just about the purity of the sport and we weren't trying to indulge the fans, you still be playing in a random sandlot. The sport would have never gained. It wouldn't be $1 billion industry. So you have, to a certain degree, someone has to come in and say, what can we do to make this game more watchable? And the answer, we know from the steroid era, is hit home runs. And if we can hit home runs without guys stabbing themselves with needles, I'm all for it, to be honest with you. Because I think the average baseball game is boring. Just it is what it is. On its face, the average game, 5-3, is boring. No one cares. But if every other at bat you hit at crack, I don't care if it's a foul ball. If that joint's flying off the bat, it's exciting stuff. So is it cheating? I'm going to say no, because everybody has the access to the tool, right? When Tom Brady deflated the football, only you had access to deflate that football based on regulations. But if everybody can do it, it's not cheating. It's just not, and is it unfair because maybe I'm a power hitter and the contact guys don't get to crank it over the fence as much. The power hitters get to 60, 70 home runs now. Maybe it's not fair to those guys that just want to put the ball in play, but who cares? The game, it's not about being fair. The game is about can we generate viewership? So I'm all for it, man.
I just think the solution to that is to go back to the juice balls. I think because I agree. The more home runs, the ball flying off the bat, even if it's not a home run, if you smack that thing and you hit it in play, it's exciting play. It creates excitement. But and I don't want to describe the bat the way that G was describing it, but in all seriousness, to change the way that the bat is, to basically use a different bat, it does almost put the pitcher at a disadvantage because now your curveball that is coming at a different speed, like G said, but now your curveball doesn't have the same effect because now the bat is different. So now, you know what I'm saying? Like you as a pitcher now have to adjust yet again, whereas the batter didn't really have to adjust. He just got new equipment. So that's not, to me, that's not the adjustment that's necessarily needed.
But a good pitcher knows how to play with the count. And that's what makes a good pitcher. So if you know how to dupe the batter, it's not like a pitcher doesn't have the leverage. End of the day, the pitcher and the catcher know what they're throwing. It's up to the batter to guess right on how to swing it and when to swing it.
I'll also say this: if I'm the commissioner, if I'm Major League Baseball, if I'm in the front office, I'm pushing this bat. I'm finding a way to make this bat look as cool as possible. I want whatever young kids that play baseball to fall in love with this style of bat, to make it as popular as possible because you need offense. And to be honest, pitching dominates in baseball already anyway. So like it's hard enough to hit as it is. So if you can create or generate more offense and get the younger generation into that, then that would be a genius idea. Even if an older baseball player or a baseball fan like myself is against that.
You have a good point there, Rome. Baseball is a sport of purists, man. Right? I think scruffing the point here. You're doing the history stats because, baseball goes back to I guess what oldest sport played in America probably goes back to early 1900s when it comes to MLB stats, right? You've got years and years of these statistics to tell you who was the best. And I think out of every sport, in my opinion at least, like baseball is the one where you could say this guy would have still been good in this era, right? Because it's such a numbers game.
No,
hell no.
Yeah, I disagree.
Everybody gets their own opinion on that. But like you're gonna tell me like there is no no one can say Randy Johnson wouldn't have been good right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't get to say that about Babe. You don't get to say Babe Ruth wouldn't have been good. Hank Aaron wouldn't have been good right now. Like the way I can be like,
yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't, bruh. No, you cannot. No, you cannot.
I don't know that Babe Ruth would have been good right now.
But y'all not.
I don't think Babe Ruth would have been good.
No baseball purist would ever say that about a Hank Aaron or a Willie Mays or Randy Johnson. Like really? Y'all can say I'll
give you Hank Aaron. I'll give you like Ted Williams. I think those guys would go in any era. But
that's my point, bro. But when it comes to basketball, you can be like Bob Cousy wouldn't give no buckets to you can do that with people do that with basketball all the time. But with baseball, it's something about the game and the pure nature of the game that doesn't allow purists to do that. Again, we talking purists here now. I think there's a flip side to the pitching. Like people love to talk about how the pitching has changed because players are throwing hard. There's always been a sect of players that can throw hard, but you're right. The average fastball has gone way up to G's point, but there's been a flip side to that where that Tommy John surgery is happening for a lot of players, bro. Like they throwing them arms out nightly, all right, bro. So there's a flip side to that too. And, because of that, you don't have the seasoning of some of these pitchers, right? So like what G was getting at, the game in the game kind of fades away a little bit, right? The setups. So for every pitcher that can throw a 100 now, there's less pitchers that know how to really set hitters up because they haven't pitched to that level for as long, bro, right? And
I don't know, man.
Art of pitching, I think some of the art of pitching has gone away. And honestly, bro, this is what the baseball purists say. So like some of the art of pitching has left the game because as a sacrifice to some of the power pitching, right? Now, when we start adding in different things to the bats, and now we're talking about a bat that looks like that's shaped like your average wiffle ball bat. You know what I'm saying? Like when we start talking about that, I think it does tarnish the legacy from a purist standpoint, right? Because we're talking about a sport that's been played the same way for so long. Where all these other sports, like, and even to me, when like they got rid of the pitchers having to hit in the NL, right? I didn't really like that, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like some of these, like the sport of baseball has been preserved to a certain extent where like there's been so many changes to football, there's been so many changes to basketball, but baseball has basically been the same sport the entire run. And I think that's
I got a question. Did not those two sports you named earlier got better?
I mean, it depends.
No. Answer the question. Did they not get better?
No,
basketball not get better.
It depends who you ask, bro.
It does not.
It does depend who you ask.
You think basketball got better?
I do not think the NBA benefited from their changes.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all think NBA got better? That's y'all's opinion, but everybody don't agree with that, bro. Everybody doesn't agree with that.
All right. Subjectively, we can't really quantify better, right? Because that comes down to taste. So the only thing we can say is money and viewership. And
that's gonna go up no matter what, though.
That's not gonna go up.
No, that's not true.
It can go up.
Money goes up no matter what.
Bro, baseball viewership is not up.
The money is up.
Baseball used to be the #1 sport in the country, America's pastime. And this is the problem with you baseball purists. The sport was played the same way before the television was invented. And you're telling me the entertainment value of that remains the same now that we have television on our phone. It's an insane idea. I don't care about baseball purists. Roger Nolan will be playing for the Bay Sox right now. Like, I don't want to hear this argument about those old guys to come up and play right now. Willie Mays will strike out every at bat in today's baseball.
You crazy, bro. You crazy people saying that.
Bro,
that's disrespectful to say.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
It is, and it's crazy.
Listen,
and it's actually insane. It's actually insane to say. It's completely insane, bro. like you don't even know what you're talking about saying that. But I get it, because if you don't know what you're talking about with baseball,
I know exactly
you're gonna feel like the viewership is what drives the conversation. But it should not only be what drives the conversation. But that's the world we live in, bro. Like that's like me saying, bro, that Baddies is better content than I don't know, what's a show that's not getting as much play right now than Big Brother, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, maybe Baddies got more viewers than Big Brother, but that doesn't mean it's better, bro. And if the only thing you look at is viewership and dollars, then you are completely lost as far as giving quality. And that's the problem with our society right now, is viewership and dollars. People think that equals quality, but that's not the case. Now, from a business perspective, if you think changing the bats is going to drive a whole bunch of viewership, good luck, bro. But I'm here to tell you, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. What's going to drive the viewership? What will drive the viewership of baseball is putting baseball back into the communities, bro. Baseball became a sport that's only accessible to a certain level of people, bro. That's the problem. Baseball outpriced itself like golf, exactly like golf, right? Baseball outprices itself for a certain level of community in America to where every kid doesn't have access to a baseball field. So like every kid doesn't get to play on a baseball team. There's not a whole and if that changes, if the access changes, then you'll see the viewership increase. But that's the issue with baseball.
Even if you have access, this is a different day and age. Even if you have access to a baseball field, where are you going to find enough kids to run a baseball game? Where are you finding enough kids outside to go play pickup baseball? We can go play 2-on-2 basketball. We can go play moss and football. Hell, we can just play catch. Where are you going to find enough kids that just want to hit a ball and chase it? You're not going to find it.
I don't disagree with that.
I do disagree with that. I think
my point though.
Rome, you got kids. How many bats you got in the house?
2.
And
How many times he go out the crib?
I mean, I'll put it like this: it's spring, it's baseball season, and tomorrow is the first day of football practice. So that kind of
Right,
sums it
right,
up.
right.
But I think the
And that's the
problem
fact.
is
Wait, go
baseball.
on.
MLB needs to drive the superstars more. If you want to reach the kids, you got to drive the superstars. That's what I was trying to make the point with the bats. If you're gonna change the bats, put it in, I don't know, Juan Soto's hands. Put them in a commercial and see if the kids run with it. And because those are the things you got to do to make the kids want to go to the baseball field. If I don't know the closest baseball field to me right now, but if my son was like, "Yo, Dad, I really want to play baseball," I would find the closest baseball field and we would make it happen. But Major League Baseball has to make that want, because I can tell you now, he gets a pair of Giannis's. He watches the Bucks. Like, a little bit of interest in basketball off top, sees me watching football, Patrick Mahomes, like all those things add up.
Do your kids know any of these guys? Kylian Mbappe.
Probably not.
They probably don't know Mbappe. Do they know any soccer players?
Yeah, Messi, like
So Ronaldo, Messi, the big names.
yeah, Ronaldo, yeah.
Bro, has the sport of soccer changed since the inception of baseball?
Soccer is the biggest sport in the world, bro. Like, what are we
But
talking about, bro? No.
No, but answer the question. Answer the question. You're going off topic. Answer the question.
My point is, bro, it's about entertainment value and it's about marketing these players. The sport of baseball is boring. I don't know why people want to talk around it. It's a boring sport to watch, and they have done nothing. They have done nothing to push it. So when you have a chance, right, to push it in the right direction, you have to do it. It doesn't matter if people want to be purists and you want to respect the legends, bro. Respecting the legends will be keeping the sport alive, because no one cares about Willie Mays. No one cares about Satchel Paige. No one cares about Nolan Ryan. No one cares about Cal Ripken Jr. So if you really want to respect the legends, you would find a way to keep the sport alive.
I agree with you on that.
Wait, hold on, because the first sport we brought up in this conversation was the NBA and how it's changed. NBA viewership is down year after year, bro. Year after year. They make changes every damn year. And guess what? It's down 5% every year. But you know what keeps going up? The NFL, bro. We're in the country, and this is where I'm happy you brought up soccer, bro. Because guess what? Baseball viewership is skyrocketing in the DR. It's skyrocketing in Mexico. Like, so don't tell me that baseball ain't what you think it is, because just in America it's not thriving. No, bruh. It's different. It gets regional at a certain point. And soccer, the viewership of soccer is horrible in the United States, bruh. But guess what? It's still the biggest sport in the world. But people have this closed-minded mindset to where it's like baseball must be a boring sport. No. Is it a fast-paced sport? No. But you can't change that, because that's the nature of the sport. Guess what's just like baseball? Cricket. And it's the biggest sport in India, going on 100 years straight. So I don't want to hear like baseball is boring, bro. It's not boring. It's cultural. You either grow up with it or you don't. And if you don't grow up with it, you're not going to appreciate it. And that's just a fact, bro. And that's the fact with most things. And in football, in the United States, you're growing up with the NFL. So that's what you're going to appreciate the most. And that's what's pushed the most, bro. It's so simple. And we can say like, hey, you got to market the stars. No, and that, okay, sure, that would probably help. But guess what stars get marketed more than any other stars? The NBA, bro. And the viewership's still down 5% year after year. So I don't want to hear that. The issue,
you got to put an asterisk on the NBA.
Kids aren't growing up with it, bro. That's
the problem with the NBA viewership.
Soto got an $800 million contract. There's some money somewhere.
Not to veer too far off. The problem with the NBA viewership though is because if my kids get the shoes, get the jersey, ask about the player, want to go see a game, we get the tickets, and then that player's load managing, he's not playing, we don't get to see him on TV. Now, as a viewer, as a fan, I'm turned off. So that's really the issue with the NBA viewership. Because you're right, Bryce. Those players are marketed heavy. There's all basketball players in almost every commercial nowadays. They're in rap videos, promoting everything. Everybody got a shoe, but you go to a game and they're not even playing. So I think that's the biggest issue with the NBA viewership. But the
Yes.
MLB, man,
Toto got
they
$1 billion
have to get
contract.
they have to get with the youth. They got to grow with the youth, and that's the biggest problem. I'm not surprised that they're big in the DR. It does get regional.
Venezuela,
There's not enough, I guess,
Japan.
American players that are getting marketed to make the young American kids want to go. We go on this all day, but the MLB definitely needs to get with the youth.
I'm
Bro,
gonna
That's the
say this,
key,
right?
bro.
I'm
That's
gonna
the
agree
key.
with what Bryce said. It is a cultural thing. I'm gonna agree with Roman T a suggestion. They gotta find a way to promote these stars. You just can't have two markets in the MLB, not just New York or Los Angeles. You gotta try to spread it in Houston. Houston has a good teams. You gotta try to spread it out a little bit with baseball because baseball I think is like 36 teams if I'm not mistaken. Is a little bigger league.
What,
30.
29, 30?
30. So it's a little smaller leagues, but they're still in big markets. Like you got like what 2 teams in Chicago. You have like 4 teams in California alone, and then you're about to take a team, the A's, to Las Vegas. You got to try to figure out something in Florida with Miami and Tampa, and you have New York, which you got the Yankees and the Mets. And then you still got to reach out and with the Jays and over there with Toronto. So I think the MLB just got to try to find their stars and promote them a lot more, and not just make it a cultural thing and make it a little bit more affordable for the youth. I know they tried right now because they have programs for that.
bro, you have to sit a kid down for 4 hours straight to watch a baseball game.
No, it's 3 hours, 3 hours now because they put a pitch clock. They put a pitch clock now. Let's
Bro,
not forget that.
if you're a parent, you understand what it means to have to sit a kid in the same spot for an extended period of time. Like
A,
10 kids for a baseball game.
Yeah,
Good luck.
a young kid, I agree, man. But if a kid likes
Yeah.
baseball, bro, 3 hours of baseball is going to be exciting.
Yeah, it's good.
Like,
I'll
if
give you
you
this
like
much.
baseball, like it's like if you like a movie, like a kid will sit down and watch a Marvel movie if they into it. Like if you
Right,
like
and
it,
and
you're
to,
going
and to that movie point, Bryce, like they're not gonna just sit down and watch that movie just off rip. You're not gonna just sit down and say watch this movie. What are you gonna do? You're gonna watch a trailer first. You're gonna be like, oh, okay, this looks interesting. So MLB needs to make interesting trailers. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to grab the kids' attention. Show me some Bryce Harper highlights that are actually exciting, and then maybe you'll get me to watch 2-3 innings of a baseball game before I tap out. You got to find a way to at least lure them in.
You know what I think
And
it
I
is though.
wouldn't say they're
First,
even doing that right now.
I'm gonna say that they gotta find a way to get the parents to watch the games, because it's like what you alluded to earlier. If I'm watching it, my son is gonna want to watch
But
because they want to follow dad.
the interesting part of this too is like, and y'all brought up the point where like, the viewership of MLB is down, right? So you got to ask yourselves, right? Especially if we're talking about a game that's been unchanged. If the game has been unchanged, right?
It's been changed. It's been changed. There's pitch count.
Okay. Minor changes as compared to other sports, right? Why was it loved 30 years ago? All the other sports were still there, right? It was loved then, but it's not as loved now. So, okay, then the other question is, the sport ain't changed. So it's not the sport. It's the society that's changed, bro. It's not the sport that's changed, bro. It's the society that's changed, bro. And we have to say, okay, what about the society has changed? What about where we are with baseball that is not allowing it to thrive? And I think my number one answer, I would go back to the fact that it's not being introduced to the same widespread amount of youth that it should be. And if
You're close, but you're
it,
far away from far away. What you're trying to say? It's not as physical contact, and I think that's the difference. Because basketball has it, football definitely has it, and with baseball, it's like, do you really want to offer? That's what you guys are alluding to. Sit down for 4 hours, 3 nowadays, a ball fly
Bro,
to a bat. It's kind of hard to really watch that on TV. In my personal opinion, I said it here before, I'd rather go to a game. If they can make games, they do make games a little bit affordable depending on the area that you're in. and it's a lot funner in person than it is on TV. Because who really wants to sit down and watch mad commercials? It's kind of hard, and that's why they implemented the pitch count, to where now pitches are like, I think it's every 15 seconds. Like, you can't sit on the mount without pitching. You got to start pitching, and they made it a little bit faster. And now with these new bats, they're trying to make it so that way you create more offense.
That's the same reason why soccer is not popular in America, bro.
Because it's boring.
Because it's boring.
Soccer not boring for the rest of the world, bro. That's the point. It's only boring to Americans, bro.
We're saying
it's only boring to Americans, bro.
It's not boring here. So you're right. It's boring here. It's not.
We are not in the rest of the world. We are absolutely. We have entertainment that they don't have. They don't have football, right? Like what? All right. To somebody that's never seen a sport before, they don't know what a sport is. What's more impressive? Steph Curry making 53 straight, or somebody. Let's just say 8 threes in a row, or somebody throwing 5 scoreless innings. Five.
Bro, nah, don't. That's a bad example. Because to be completely honest, if you throw 5 scoreless innings, that's impressive as hell.
No, that's to us.
That's to us.
No, you guys are being biased.
No, I'm not being biased, bro. The 8 threes in a row is vastly more exciting. Like the 8 threes in a row is more exciting. It's not more impressive.
That's his point.
It's more exciting. I'll give you that. I wouldn't say impressive though.
But then again, it's exciting for who, bro? Because the rest of the world,
someone that doesn't know anything.
No, that's not the case. It's only exciting to the American, bro. It's only more exciting to the American, bro. The rest,
it's subjective. It's subjective.
No, because if that was the case, bro, basketball would be the biggest sport in the world.
The semi is that that's what the NBA is trying to like.
Soccer's still the biggest sport in the world, bro.
Soccer is still the biggest sport in the world, but basketball.
And y'all telling me it's boring. So y'all telling me the biggest sport in the world is boring. Then why is it the biggest sport in the world?
Basketball is absolutely the biggest growing sport in the world.
Bruh, basketball viewership is down 5% year after year in the United States.
In the United States.
But my question is, why is soccer the biggest sport in the world?
Because the world is introduced to soccer first, right? That's their first love. But basketball is growing at a rate where basketball will catch up to soccer. Because basketball, bro, it's just as easy to play basketball as it is a soccer. You need a ball and a hoop. Soccer, you need a goal and a ball. What, bro? And to this point, do not let the Dominicans figure out that if you can throw a baseball 100 miles an hour, you can throw a football 80 yards because it's over,
bro. Hold on, this the American mindset, right? I'm gonna tell you what the top sports are.
He's not wrong. The only thing about the
listen to this though. Soccer is the number 1 sport in the world. What y'all think the number 2 sport in the world is?
Baseball.
Cricket, bro.
Nah, I was probably gonna say like
because cricket got that big population.
I'm gonna show you how off we are to the world. What do you think the number 3 sport in the world is?
You said the first one, soccer, then cricket.
Soccer's 1, cricket's 2. What do you think 3 is?
Probably rugby.
Hockey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What do you think? What you think 4? I'm gonna show y'all how what y'all think it is ain't really what it is. What y'all think 4 is?
Hold on. Where you?
I would have guessed.
Hold on. Where are you getting this list from? Where?
The World Atlas.
We need the source.
I'm getting it from the World Atlas. Right?
Who's your source?
I'm getting the list from the World Atlas. So what y'all think? What y'all think number 4 is, bro?
It has
baseball.
To have it has to be like an Olympic sports because you have a lot of people playing it. So I'm gonna say if it ain't golf,
baseball's top 5. Is baseball not top 5?
Bro, we don't live in the world. We live in the United States.
4 is tennis, bro. Yeah, we live in the United States, but you are making claims that anyone that's never seen anything is going to choose the sport that you think is best. It's the most American-centric mind you could ever have, bro. You think what it is in America is what everyone would agree with. And that's false, bro. But that's how Americans think, so I get it. But number 4 is tennis, bro.
Hold on.
Number 4 is tennis.
Stop it. Are you telling me the continent of Africa, after soccer, they want to play cricket, tennis, and hockey?
I don't know what they probably not playing hockey. I'll tell you that much. they're probably not playing any hockey. They probably playing more cricket than they playing basketball as a country.
And Africa,
they're probably playing more cricket than they're playing basketball as a country. And that's
what's 5? Baseball or basketball got to be top 5.
Tennis is 4, bro.
So what's 5?
Number 5, volleyball. Y'all ain't getting it, bro.
Nah, they just picking anti-black sports.
Being out of anti-black, bro. You know what number 6 is? Table tennis. They rather play table tennis before they play your ball in the hoop. All right, so and that's why it's hilarious to me to hear y'all tell me that, because we think it in America that people would rather see 8 threes in a row. Now they'd rather see somebody get spiked on in volleyball. All right, someone that's never seen anything. But okay, based off what? Your American mindset?
Listen.
Based off what?
Your silly stats would make sense if we knew who the most famous table tennis player was. If we knew who the most famous volleyball player was. Bro, I don't care how many.
We are in America. Why would we know that? That's my point, bro. Your claim is
that. But T's point is, why does some random person in India whose favorite sport is cricket know who Michael Jordan is, but I don't know the Michael Jordan of cricket? I don't know the LeBron James of cricket.
But T's point is that if no one ever saw anything, they would rather see Steph Curry make 5 threes in a row. That's preposterous, and that's American.
I agree with you slightly on that part, but this is the thing. This is the thing. But if I live in India and I'm introduced to cricket first, then I'm gonna lean cricket over basketball. So that's the same. That's the same thing.
That's what I said about baseball. That's why baseball's failing, because you're not introduced to it. Nobody's introduced to it.
Hey, Google jersey sales globally, and let's see on the list where we get to Mr. Cricket, and let's see on the list where we get to table tennis.
All right, but guess what's not first? Basketball and football. That's not first.
Don't worry.
That's not first.
After
we already know who's going to dominate it. It's going to be soccer, bro.
And then,
you know what it might be after that? It might be cricket. It might just be.
Cricket is super popular in a country that has a large amount of people, but also that large amount of people in that country are trying to get their best to get to this country. So I hear you.
Facts.
Bro, y'all can double check this, fact check me if you want. Maybe I'm in the wrong algorithm, but according to Google, Shohei Ohtani is the most popular.
Well, he got the most fans.
No, don't do that, bro. See, that's what you're going to do. You're move the goalpost. No, bro. You just said who's the top jersey. Yo, but you said who's the top jersey sale. It's a baseball player, bro. So stop with your narratives. Your narrative is killed. Your narrative is dead, bro. You can't move the goalpost once your narrative dies, bro.
So
it's dead right there if it show it.
To be fair though, he's got crazy crossover.
So what about
that's what it's
my son got Japan, got South Korea.
Asia
damn near.
Based on Bryce's point, Yao Ming was more famous than Jordan. Like,
nah, bro. That's not what I'm saying, bro.
That's what you're saying. That's what you're alluding to, my brother.
That's not what I'm alluding to at all.
We might have to fact check that one. We might have to fact check that one.
Rome made the right point. If you're from India, yeah, bro, you're gonna love cricket because that's what you're exposed to. And that was my earlier point of baseball, bro. The kids aren't exposed to baseball. You know why? Because these other sports were newer and started growing and started getting money. So the money is what was followed. So they were exposed to what was getting money, what was growing fast, because something else was had already grown. Right? So now they're not exposed to it. So now they don't care about it. But eventually, guess what, bro? The same shit will happen to basketball. We're watching, in America at least, maybe it'll grow globally, but we're literally watching that play out. And what will replace it? Maybe it's video games, bro. Maybe because the kids get exposed to so many video games at an early age, they stop caring about basketball as much. Who knows what it is? But it's going to happen to something else if we don't keep these things in the youth from jump, bro. It's just a fact.
I just talked to my boy Coach Fast. He coached Travel 13U. He said the best player on his team told him and his parents, "I'd rather be a Navy SEAL than play baseball." That just lets you know where we at.
My son trying to be a sniper. God bless America. God bless
Hey,
you.
hey, that's probably based off video
Jack
games.
with it.
I bet you he's played more Call of Duty, more Fortnite than MLB The Show.
And I guarantee you
And the crazy thing,
that
MLB
your
is
kids.
the best video game of all the consoles. Did
But
you
look,
know?
I guarantee you that your kids will not feel the same way about basketball that your kids feel about it, bruh. And that's the point I'm making, because it's just a cycle, bruh. Your pops and my pops and their pops cared way more about baseball. Maybe not you literally, but just like figuratively, right? Like generally, the generation before us cared way more about baseball. This one, way more about basketball. The next one, way more about football.
You're right. You're right.
Each thing cycles out if you don't keep it going to the youth, bro. That's my point.
It's not. I think that's what you're wrong. It's not a cycle. It's a linear line, and the line is going away from baseball and it's going to video games. It's not going to go. It's not going to circle back to a ball and a bat. I promise.
No, it's not. I'm not saying it circles back to baseball, but I'm saying the cycle will happen to each sport if it's not maintained, bro. If the cultural aspect of it is not maintained,
it's
bro.
already done.
And we're watching it happen to basketball we're watching it happen to basketball as we speak, bro. We are watching it, bro.
Culturally, fashionably, you can see somebody wear a basketball jersey, no biggie. Fashionably, you see somebody wear a football jersey, no biggie. The only time you see somebody wearing a baseball jersey is going to a baseball game.
I'll pull up in a baseball jersey,
bruh. But that is just proving the point, and I agree with that, bro. That's what I'm saying. It's cultural. It might if it is or it's not, whatever. But
soccer jerseys are pretty fire too, to be honest.
It's not maintained culturally, bruh. And when it happens to the next sport, you'll have to do your whole "it's over" routine again, and it might be for basketball.
Bro, but you gotta understand, I didn't invent these games, so I don't like. I like it. I don't expect it. I don't expect my kids to like my oldest son swims. Like I don't. if you don't like what I like, that's how I think things should happen, right? You don't like my music. You don't have my same taste in food. Like it's going, bro. Your generation has their own. So whatever the next sport is that come, I don't know. Maybe it's esports, but baseball had a lead. It had a lead, and now it's in the back, and it's not coming back ever again.
Hey, well, I found a more legitimate list of the top jerseys. So the number one jersey actually isn't Ohtani. It's actually Messi is number one. Number two, to T's point, is Steph Curry. So basketball is definitely in there. And then as I go down the list, it's all soccer after that. You got Giannis at 6, LeBron at 7. You got Luka at 11. You get to Ohtani at 13, and then at 14, you got Aiden Hutchinson on the Lions.
So, that's the first football player?
I don't trust.
That's the first football player.
That's
American. It is American sales, bro. I don't even trust this.
Nah, I skipped all the soccer players.
No,
there's
if Aiden Hutchinson is in the top 20, I don't trust this list. What are we talking about, bro? I don't know where you finding this list, bro. He wouldn't even be the top 20 football jersey. What are we talking about right now, bro? I'm not.
Holy shit!
Wait, what's your source? Tell me your source, man.
Bro,
what's this?
Your source is from an Android, all right?
Ranker? Nah, I'm on an Apple product right now. All
right, fellas, next topic. What's our next topic, Bryce?
This ain't making no sense.
Man, we don't got no next topic. It's already we are out.
Yeah.
We are out in.
Hey, hold up, bro. Aiden Hutchinson got me dead, though, bro. I'm sorry, bro. What was it, right after the draft? The Michigan.
It says top selling jerseys of 2025, bro.
Didn't he tear his ACL in 25? So you telling me fresh off an ACL tear? My man at the top, hey, bro, I'm not buying this, bro. 25 just started 2 months ago. You telling me he hit fresh off an ACL tear, he hit the top selling jersey? All right, man. I can't go with this.
Times have changed, man. Just wait till the I Show Speed jerseys come out. Wait till the streamers make their jerseys. Times have changed.
That's where we headed, bro. That's where we headed. And like, if y'all think what happened to baseball won't happen to basketball or something after it, especially as we're watching the viewership decline, y'all sadly mistaken. And it's not just because this is way more exciting. No, bro. That's not how it works, bro. It's not how it works. We know it. We know how it works, bro. It's driven by that paper. All right. Keep it in the culture, man. Keep it going culturally. We'll have all these sports. As long as Soto getting 800 million, though. When I have my kids, man, they going straight into baseball. All right.
Facts, because baseball is the only league where contracts are fully guaranteed.
Yeah, we going straight into
That's
baseball.
still crazy to me. And the best sports union of all
CTE.
sports union.
Yeah. I mean, once upon a you can't tell me nothing's more exciting than boxing. Like, come on, bro. And look at that viewership, dog. So, like, we can't play the excitement game with boxing. What's more exciting than boxing?
Bro, and look how they got to market their sport, bro.
Oh, I agree, bro. This is my point, bro. Like, what's more exciting than two niggas duking it out, bro? There's nothing more exciting than that, bro. But look at the viewership, dog. Hey, man, this is a good episode, man. I feel like the debates, in my opinion, are what makes this show, man. And good debate tonight. I think we all made some valid points. I'm interested to see what y'all think about it, man. Drop your comments in the chat. Drop your comments in the comment log. Let us know what you think, man. Why is baseball declining? What sport could you see declining next? Is it a viewership thing? Is it a cultural thing? Is it a purely entertainment thing? Is it an excitement thing? I think we made some good points tonight, and I'd love to hear what y'all think, man. Like, subscribe this video. Make sure you follow all of us on all socials. Y'all see the tags in the top left corner of each screen. And y'all know how we end each and every show, fellas.
The sports for the culture.